Guys, give it up for the cast and crew from Star Trek Prodigy. Let's go. Yeah.
Keep it going. Keep it going. Keep it
We'll go
going.
all day, guys. We'll go all day.
Please sit down. Sit down.
I want to kick off this interview by telling you how we feel about you at CBR.
I'm missing
As she
you.
laughs uncontrollably. Our in-house Star Trek expert, his name is Joshua Patton. He ranks you as the #1 Star Trek captain of all time.
Where is he?
Ooh.
Where is he?
Joshua Patton, where are you, Joshua Patton? He's not at Comic-Con.
I would like to see him immediately in my quarters.
Shout out to Joshua Patton.
I'm his favorite captain.
Of all time. Of all time. It's on CBR. It's in
What
print.
can I do?
#1. It's a top 10 list. You're
Great.
#1.
How nice.
What an emotional roller coaster you guys have gone through with this series. I want to start there because it has a happy ending.
Yeah.
You know, started on Paramount Plus, did not go well after. I don't know how to put that to the but you guys found new life on Netflix. What was that sort of journey like for you guys? How would you sort of characterize the emotional roller coaster that you went through with this series?
Bizarre. And do you guys want to speak to the...
I mean, the show's about hope, and I think our crew has always been very hopeful. I mean, even from the moment when we popped up that Zoom meeting and there was like 30 heads, and we're like, this is probably not going to go well. But even after that first conversation, we had a follow-up call where Alex Kurtzman's like, this is not going to be the end. We're going to keep making this show. We're going to finish season 2. And thank God that we did. And, you know, and then when it moved to Netflix, it was just going to be a little bit more of a longer wait. But we were so happy that Netflix, and the reason why it's on Netflix is the fans who love the show were
Do you
flying.
know what happened?
Yeah.
What happened?
Do I know?
Do you know why it moved to Netflix?
Because Paramount Plus canceled it? Like, do I know the inner workings
No,
of Paramount?
no.
Teach
There's a
him,
wonderful
Kate.
story
Oh no,
behind
no, I
it.
know the fan. Oh, I know the fans showed up for it for sure.
They paid for a plane, albeit a tiny one,
I mean,
and they
was a
attached
plane.
a streamer to it
Yeah.
saying, "Bring back Prodigy
Yeah.
or die." And Netflix did it. God bless Netflix.
I mean, yeah, you don't mess with Star Trek fans. You know,
You don't mess with
you
them.
don't mess with
So
them.
this should indicate to you
Yeah,
the importance of this particular series.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful animated series.
it sure is.
Right? There
Yeah.
should be none of this shuffling. I'm getting sort
Yeah.
of, I don't know, triggered today.
Yeah.
There shouldn't be any controversy or any discussion about why it's not being picked up. It should simply be picked up. It's
Yeah.
marvelous.
Yeah.
It's superior.
Yeah.
But perhaps this is the problem. It's exalted. It's asking everybody to, exercise a different part of their imaginations. Am I wrong in saying that, or am I right?
No,
You're right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I don't understand why it's not being, widely sought after, because it should be.
Yeah.
It should be.
Yeah.
But I think
Yeah.
you'll see, we don't know if there's going to be a season 3 or what the future is, and it has been a roller coaster. But just today, doing these interviews, we're just laughing and having a great time, and
Exactly.
I think we're so filled with hope because we believe in this show so much that there will be more of it at some point.
Yeah.
'Twas ever thus, though, about the excellent stuff.
Mhm.
I've had a long career, 50 years.
Mm-hmm.
Always the marvelous stuff can be lost
Mm-hmm.
in favor of the mediocre stuff,
Mm-hmm.
making the assumption that the audience is mediocre. The audience isn't mediocre. The audience wants to watch this kind of product.
Yeah.
This is Star Trek, right?
Yeah.
Rooted in science, in a
Yeah.
different kind of the imagination, a different kind of the intelligence. So,
And we were aiming for a tough audience to get, which is you have kid shows and you have adult shows.
Right.
And we want to make a show where kids and adults can watch the show together.
Yeah.
And that's a special place. I feel like those are the shows that I remember watching certain shows with my family when I was a kid. We want to do the same thing. So I think that's where both sides grow. Like the parents are seeing something, I never thought of that, and the kids are seeing the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
and it's so cohesive, it's so binding, and it's so wonderful that it's shared, right? So it goes beyond the education, and
Yeah.
it goes beyond sentiment. It becomes an emotionally sort of very binding thing between the
Yeah.
mother and the child, and the mother and her mother.
Mhm.
It's transgenerational. It's absolutely astonishing in this regard.
Yeah.
It should have 552 seasons.
Exactly. And the first of its kind in the Star Trek world. Kevin and Dan, talk about, like, take us back to the beginning and how sort of what a challenge that was to find that sort of sweet spot, bringing Star Trek to a younger audience for the first time.
I mean, one of the first conversations we had was, this isn't a kids show. Kids will be able to watch it, but this is going to be, we know there's a lot of adults out there who are apprehensive of turning on a Star Trek show because they don't know the difference between a Vulcan and a Romulan, or they feel like there's just too much. And we wanted to speak to those people, that, because I think the message of Star Trek really, I feel like, needs to go to everybody. And it's this message of hope. It's a message of inclusivity, and that the better versions of ourselves are just over the bluff, and we can get there.
Directive. Yep.
And Brett, you're one of the most exciting new characters that was introduced is Dalrell. Tell us about coming onto the series from the beginning and finding his voice.
Yeah, I am similarly to Dal, had no real connection to Star Trek at the beginning. And I feel like I kind of grew up with Dal. Like, I learned about Star Trek through his story. And I'm very proud of him. I think he's maturing very well. He's learning a lot. And I think it mirrors sort of my own journey with Star Trek, sort of watching Dal become a captain and then now, first command. And then I think that there's just so much growth that goes on with every character. There's such a giant arc. I think for me personally, coming into it at the beginning, I was nervous, of course, because...
Why?
I mean, it's Star Trek, it's like a giant...
Kate, you're a little intimidating.
Yeah,
What was your
you're kind of a
experience?
legend.
What was your experience of Star Trek?
My experience of Star Trek was overwhelming. I knew what it was and I knew what it would mean, but you kind of have to go through it to get it. There's this pressure, I think Ella and I also talked about this, of like coming into Star Trek as completely new characters and kids, that you want to do it right, you want to do it justice, and I think it's, again, a testament to the writing of you guys and the storytelling that these kids don't know what they're doing. And them learning it through the show it's incredibly inviting for everybody watching. No matter how old you are, I think, to sort of go through this with them and to learn about Starfleet and to learn about being an augment and to learn about the legacy of Janeway. There's so many things that you can take from this series if you're at the beginning of your Star Trek journey. So I always tell people
you know what we haven't talked about? His voice. So he's the leading character of among this crew. There's something about your voice that is not only welcoming, right?
We had a different voice in mind for the character.
Oh,
and
great.
When he came in, not a different actor, but when we heard him talking, we just thought I'm like, this is a perfect fit. This is somebody who we want to spend time with.
oh, yay.
And it moves. It's musical. But of course, you're musical, aren't
Totally.
you, Brett?
Yes.
Aren't you playing Michael Jackson on
Oh,
Broadway?
my gosh.
He is.
Yes. Did that evolve the character at all when a new voice comes on and you go, no, this is what he sounds like? Do you start making other sort of tweaks to Dalrell at that time?
Yeah. You definitely like write toward the character, you know.
You think and then you hear something and you're like, that's better.
Yeah.
Brett was better.
And our dream is like for this show to keep going, because to see Dal, like we're only, this is the first chapter of his experience. And when my time with Star Trek, it was watching the original series, and then you started watching the feature films, and you saw.
You watched the original when you were a little boy?
Yeah.
No,
Reruns.
reruns.
Yeah, reruns. I'm not that old. No, but to see Captain Kirk and Spock getting older in the feature films and stuff, I enjoyed following these characters as they aged, and I'm like, I really want to see what the next chapter is for Dal and Gwyn and all the whole crew of kids,
That'd be dope to grow up with them and to what older Dal is like.
Yeah.
We know. You know what it is? You know what it is? It's like,
Maybe he has two dingle dangles when he gets.
No, but we're dingle dangles are better.
The dingle.
I think when Dal begins a series, he's fueled by what he thinks is confidence, but it's false confidence.
Oh yeah.
But then I want to see him with real confidence.
Same.
Yeah.
And you get to that place on the crew where these kids are their best versions of
But this
themselves.
is also very true of children.
Yeah.
They don't have the confidence.
Fake it till you make
They
it.
fake it till they make it, and they're watching you. It's wonderful
Yeah.
example. You're an exemplar.
Uh-oh.
Ooh.
How does that feel, Member
feels
Barry?
He's got to shorten that.
Well, I mean, it tickles my.
You got to
dingle
shorten
dangle.
what?
That word.
Don't you
exemplar.
dare! Don't you shorten that dingle dangle.
We have
Oh my gosh.
And the beautiful thing about Star Trek is this character really like could go on and on and on and on. I mean,
yeah.
you might be playing him for 50 more years.
I mean,
don't
that
know.
would be amazing though. And I think that coming into it and having such great example, I think, I didn't imagine that for my life, but I think that'd be something really cool to be a part of.
Yeah. Well, I mean, what have been the best reactions you guys have gotten to season 2? Like the fans.
Did you read the review in Variety?
I didn't. Was it nice?
You didn't in preparation for this
I did
interview?
not.
Yeah. It was an extraordinary review. It said this is the most spectacular Star Trek ever written, conceived of, produced, and created.
Wow.
The best.
Wow.
Because these guys are thinking way out of the box.
Yeah.
And it's really working.
Do you agree?
I absolutely agree.
Yeah.
Better than Voyager?
Oh, that's a question.
We're making headlines today.
Hot
on
seat,
that.
hot
Take a
seat.
martini break here.
What'd you say earlier? Go to black.
I'll save you. Finally, we'll have to let you guys go in a minute, but I would love to hear from each of you. What is the most rewarding thing about being part of the Star Wars unit? Wow. Sorry.
Did you just
no,
say
I didn't.
Star
No, I
Wars?
didn't. No, I
Go
didn't.
to black. Go to black. Go to black.
Yoda. I was looking at Yoda was
Joe,
staring me
here's
down.
my agent.
Yoda
Call my lawyer.
Yoda Jedi mind tricked me.
Star Wars.
Drop your mics, guys.
Have you heard about the new Star Wars show? There's a show.
I got
about-
through
Or
how
talk
many
about
interviews did I
Star
get
Wars.
through
About
without like a
kids who steal a
huge blunder?
starship.
This is like number
Yeah.
30.
No way.
Yeah.
Oh, did you hear that?
What's that?
Oh, yeah, say Star Wars again.
How to piss off the Star Trek crew 101. Yeah, I'm gonna take that from the top, but we're gonna keep that in because I love it. Guys, what is the most rewarding thing for each of you about
This
being
right
part
now,
of the
this
Star Trek
moment
universe?
right now.
That it's not the Star Wars universe. That's the most rewarding thing. It is a wonderful. You do know what the Prime Directive is, don't you? The Prime Directive is a way of approaching life in space. And I think it's illustrated beautifully in Prodigy through these kids, especially Dal, as he matures. And certainly through Janeway on Voyager, it was lost in the Delta Quadrant. An exercise in how to become deeply, deeply human while being in command of 165 people, the likelihood of returning to Earth very, very slim, and enjoying every bloody minute of it, as I am Star Trek Prodigy. So there you have it.
Do you want to tell us?
I mean,
How can you follow
that was
that?
great. You hate that.
Nobody wants to follow Kate.
Nobody wants to follow.
That's why she's the captain.
That's why she's
Or I
the
guess
captain.
that's
That's
the
why
other
she's the
way
number one captain.
around.
Number
One captain.
Number one
Love
captain.
that guy. I'll get his info from you after we
Yes.
finish.